Yo, how's everybody doing today? I've been brainstorming this video for quite a while now, but I'm not really sure how many people this is actually gonna get out to, considering the algorithm lately, because damn, it's been terrible. But that has nothing to do with today's video. So, you want to make a VTuber model for your channel, for streaming, or maybe for a friend, or whatever you want to use it for. Pause. But looking at those hundreds of layers and hours of work is daunting at the very least. Whether you can or cannot draw to your standards does not matter in the process of a VTuber model design. And that's scary, but I'm here to tell you, it's really not as horrible as people really make it out to be. From beginner to beginner, I'm going to try my best to explain this very tedious process in the simplest way possible. And I'll showcase a simple sample model, a simple sample, say that 5 times fast. And just, for all the visual learners out there, you're welcome. This is Later Lemon coming in. I forgot to add a tip on what canvas size to make this on Procreate specifically. Might be different on different apps, but for me, this is the canvas size I use. A screenshot real quick. And yeah, make sure to keep watching the video. So for the record, I am not a model rigger. I'm here to give advice to people who want to draw the model and have a prepared to commission a model rigger. So for this case, I also want to really quickly get this out there. If you're not a model rigger and you don't want to be, do not force it. You're setting yourself up for failure. There's hundreds of people willing to work hard on your model, offer great communication with a wide range of prices. I'll be putting some links in the description for websites to browse. My recommendation as a beginner is to start off with a half body model, which is what I have here. Don't mind the middle area. I did not realize I didn't put that in transparent. Half body is a solid amount of work, and it's just for a way cheaper price too. If you're not a streamer, I really definitely recommend just a half body for now. You could always go for a later full body or chibi or anything, but just for now, focus on a half body. Alright, for the sketch category, I decided to quickly sketch an example of a different body model type to show you what numbering will look like as you go, along with separation of the different body parts and everything like that. This is usually how it's supposed to look up close. This part is the easiest, and in my opinion, the best part. Make sure everything you want in the final rendering process is made and adjusted here. Take your time and make sure the sketch is exactly where you want it to be. And please, for the love of God, use a symmetry tool, okay? Listen, you do not want to be drawing without it for this part, okay? Now, this is completely up to you, but finding your color palette during this part could really help you in the rendering segment. Though this next tip is something I highly recommend. Now we're on to the numbering. As of now, it may feel like a waste of time, but just trust me on this part. Navigating layers just might be the hardest part of the drawing process. Any way to reduce less stress and demotivation is what you should strive for. Begin with labeling parts of your sketch, starting with what goes behind everything to what goes on top. For example, with this sample sketch I'm drawing, I'm starting with the parts of the tail. Basic order and separation is the tail, back hair or accessory, stomach/torso, shoulders, forearms, and hands. And make sure that you separate both arms into completely different layers. Then there's clothing, neck, head, ears, top hair/bangs, antenna, and then the face. We'll get into the facial layering later on this video, though for now just focus on the body. Don't overwhelm yourself. I promise it is not as hard as people make it out to be, okay? Now this is how it should come out. So you're going to want to save the sketch, a copy with the color, a copy with no color, and a copy with the numbering. Okay, now we're on to the rendering part. This part is easily discouraging, so I'm going to do my absolute best to give you the easiest tips to stay motivated. Begin by focusing on the first part that goes underneath everything, and working your way to the top. My mistake was shading and rendering each part as I went on, so I recommend just focusing on the line art and color for each part for now. Once you finish line arting your sketch, the piece should look something like this, but probably better. And if it doesn't, move some layers around and begin grouping some as well. But make sure you be careful what you group and what you don't group, but if anything, don't group it. Ask your model rigger and just be sure that you don't combine layers that you do not need to, then you'll have to redraw it all over again. Alright, now we're on to the separating layers. So, onto this area, I recommend just experimenting it all on your own. If you don't know if you should separate a certain layer, then just separate it. That's the best safe option. These are the best diagrams that I've used during my process. One of the best ways I've been able to organize the model is to remember, what parts do you want/need to move on their own, such as shoulders and forearms. Those need to be separated into their own layers. Oh, and also, make sure to keep shading for skin in separate layers. You can do the same for clothing for that extra detail, but I recommend just sticking with a simpler separation for the shading. Okay, now this might get a little controversial, but if you need that extra advice and you have absolutely no one to turn to, this might sound crazy, but ask AI. I know it's a little controversial, but I promise you, it can get out of a really tough situation. It's what an assistant does, and that's what it is. And this is how it should turn out. Okay, now we're on to the face separation part. Now this part you should definitely pay attention to. While online diagrams can help, it can be super confusing to people who don't know how to organize layers at all. So let me dissect this for you. The main difficulties I found in this process were the eyes and the mouth. Eyes are a bit more difficult because it depends on what your art style is, and it can depend on what guideline you're also looking for as well. So here's a layer setup of my model's eyes. Simply start with the sclera, which is the white part or whatever color you want it to be. Its shadow, so you're gonna have to separate that into its own layer. And then the iris, that's gonna be both separate layers for each iris. Top lash, side lash, bottom lash, then details such as highlights. Make sure everything is separate. It does not matter if these highlights are both the same. Like, you see my mouse right here? These two highlights, they have to be on different layers. In order for the rigger to rig them properly, they're gonna have to be in their own layers. And as for the mouth, top and bottom lips can help clean up the inside of the mouth. Think of it as like an entire lip rather than the lip itself, like a real mouth. Everything goes underneath the two. Make sure to layer them just like the diagrams. My tip to you, there's no need to draw the tongue out. Just keep it simple, okay? There's a couple of diagrams that told me I need to have like tongue out in a different layer, but I don't know how to do that. So keep it simple. That is my best advice to you. So here's how the layers should be organized. Alright, now we're finally on to the converting to GIMP. We're finally on the very last part. While you may think you just need to get this to the rigger, that is where you're wrong. Once you've saved this as a PSD file, make sure you save it to that. Send it to your PC, then download the GIMP app on the website. Make sure it's the website version. The other ones do not allow specific commands, so make sure it's on the website. I'd make a tutorial on how to convert it without a PC, but you do kind of need a PC to have a model, so upload the body PSD into the file tab and then convert to RBG working space, same thing. So then you're gonna make sure to check all the layers and see if they're correct, and maybe fidget with them, make sure that everything works in the workspace before the next step. Okay, and then combine the face layers with the rest of the body. So you're gonna open the file tab. I said it right. So you're going to open the file tab, open as layers, then convert to file. Then now you're going to combine the face layers with the rest of the body. So you're going to need to open the file tab again, open as layers, then convert the file. Once again, make sure everything exported properly by checking through the layers and moving them around to double check. Save a backup file, then convert file to PSD. Lastly, export it to a folder in Google Drive. Okay, I know that was a lot to get across, so I really hope this helps in any way possible. Remember to trust the process and take it slow. I know you guys can do it. If I could do it, you could do it. Yeah, help me get this video into the algorithm to help other people who may need it. Support is heavily appreciated for this new chapter of my small channel. It's been pretty tough lately. Like, I feel like the algorithm has gotten even worse, if that's possible, but it's not going to stop me from the new update that I've been promising you guys. So I'm really excited for Poppy Playtime this weekend. I have quite a few things to prepare and quite a few things that I'm gonna plan to record, but if you guys have any suggestions either way, feel free to let me know. I would love to do some more talk videos if you want, but either way, I really hope this helped to whoever needed it. So thank you so much for watching.